Oh, looks like it's a baby. Well, let's see what happens when we skip them. Oh! Ever get the shiver down your spine when the elevators get stuck on the 50th floor? Now imagine it didn't get stuck, and instead of arriving to your office when the doors open, you arrive to a different world. Sounds fun, adventurous, and inspiring. So today, we're going to turn it into the game, or should I say, a horror game. To start our dive to the bottom floor, we first have to draw the elevator. So I drew some stuff you would commonly find in any elevator, such as the elevator buttons, the floor sign, and not gonna lie, it wouldn't make sense to think the elevator is running on its own. So I also drew a generator. Plus, it's going to be useful later on. I also drew a few more rooms extending the elevator, but we're going to introduce them later in the video. For now, the elevator looks pretty nice. I didn't expect it to turn out this good, but there's only one problem. The elevator feels a bit too spacious. So I made the 2 rooms on the side an upgrade for later on in the game. I also added 2 types of currency, which is gold and scraps. I wanted them to display on the top, but I found out that it wasn't as easy as I thought, since using the normal scratch chat was making it look unaesthetic and unpleasing and disgusting. Such filth would never be in my games. I had to lock in and made my own counting system, which took me like an hour or 2, but it was pretty worth it at the end. Just look at these numbers go. Look how pleasing they look and aesthetically sticking they are. Such a sight could never be go undone in my game. All my game are perfected to this fashion. Oh, what's that? Where's the floor number? And where's the door and the elevator? Hey, don't be rushing things, bro. Masterpieces take time. Nah, but for real, I low-key need a door and the floor number. Okay, so we got the floor number done, and we're pretty much done with the door. The only thing we haven't got done are the floors we can reach. So I started to draw a couple levels the player can encounter during the game. For our first level, we got the plain. Yup, it's just a bunch of grass and hills. Nothing to see here, really. For our second level, we got a party. Seems like a vibe in here. For our third level, we got a village. Seems pretty unsettling. And that's all the levels for now. I'll add more levels later on when we get to the deeper areas. But for starting out, this isn't too bad. But now that we got the levels done, when you open the doors to the elevators, you can find nobody. Kind of like the back rooms, which I don't like, because even the back room have entities. So that's what we're going to make next. Since each level has a different vibe and style, I wanted the enemy to match the vibe as well. So each floor is going to have a unique entity. For the grassland, our entity is going to be the scratch cat. You could choose to fight him, or you could skip him. It doesn't matter. But if you choose to fight him, he will sway side to side trying to avoid your attacks while also attacking you with a scratch, because he is scratch cat after all. For the night level, I made a bodyguard type guy. Kinda acts like a bodyguard, but also kind of like a host of the party. Like the scratch cat, you can also choose to fight him or skip him. If you choose to fight him, he will try to throw punches at you, just like how scratch cat does, but with his fist. You do not want to be messing with this guy. He punches bricks for fun. For the village level, I made a sneaky little goblin over here. He's quite skinny and kind of malnourished, so he doesn't really punch you or scratch you. Instead, he uses a spear. You have the same options as last time to choose to fight him, but instead, this time, he says give me all your gold. So, if you don't fight him, you get all your gold taken away. Sounds like a type of person that's in our society. No, I'm just kidding. Also, he strikes 3 times from the ground, making it have a bigger hitbox, so you gotta watch out. Alright, now out of those clips, what did you notice that was wrong? What? The goblin takes all your gold and it's not fair? No, it's totally fair. The only thing that's wrong is that the player has no chance to fight back. In all those clips, you can't even lay a finger on them, let alone damage them in any way. So that's why I'm adding a Glock 19, fresh from the streets. Okay, disappointment, but I switched to a revolver because the fire rate of the Glock was too much. The switch on that thing, it wasn't it. Okay, so now that we could defeat our enemies, I don't just want to defeat our enemies. I want them to drop some loot. So I decided to make chests that can be dropped by several enemies. First is the wood chest, which is dropped from enemies from floor 0 to 25. The silver chest for floor 25 to 50. And finally, the void chest from floors 50 plus. Okay, we got the chest, but where's the items? Hey, yo, chill, bro. Don't rush me like that. I got you. For Scratch Cat, we got Scratch here, because Scratch keeps scratching his hair, and it fell off during the battle. For the buff guy, he got knocked out. You knocked the glasses out of him. So as for your reward, you get to take his shades off and put them on your own, even though they're a bit broken. For the goblin, he drops a block of gold. Who would have guessed? The one with the most loot wants your money. Well, no surprise, buddy. You just hit the jackpot and wasted a booger man. Now, when you try to fight others, you're not just standing on business. You're teaching others a lesson while getting paid. Guess who had to pay up now? Huh. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to the next few floors. Since this is a horror game, the levels will get scarier and more dangerous as you go down. So for this floor, I'm making a night city. And because this is a night city, we have to have some ops on the block. I know he looks similar to the party guy, but I swear it's not him. When you counter him, he will start rapping this song. But like, if you choose to fight him, let's just say you're not the only one trapped up around here. And if you defeat him, he will drop his ski mask, and now you can also become one of them. Next up, we got the water level. In this level, I drew some seaweed on the side to indicate it's water and not the sky. For the enemy, I drew a shark, because what else in the water could be as terrifying as this thing? When you encounter him, you might already be cooked, because look how fast he's attacking. Look at his bites, bro. But at least it doesn't have that much HP. And if you somehow survive and defeat him, he'll drop his fin, disabling his ability to swim forever. Okay, now we're in the sky. For the last level from level 25 to 50, the player is gonna be in a troposphere. You'll be either scared from the height or scared from the bird that is coming after you. Ooh. Yes, this is the last enemy for the level. And don't say he looks like the Angry Bird, bruh. He isn't the Angry Bird. When he arrives to your floor, it's enough to shiver your timbers, because his attacks are way harder to avoid than all the other monsters. So yeah, watch out and watch your step. If you defeat him, you get a red egg that is slightly cracked. Maybe something's gonna come out if you wait long enough, but I would probably just cook the egg if I were you. Okay, since we're basically mid-game, we should start working on the extended rooms on the side of the elevator. Starting off at the right side, we have this little workbench over here. I plan on making the player upgrade their stuff by using scrap. So I started making the GUI for the upgrades. Our first upgrade is going to be damage of the gun. Since the HP is going to increase every floor, I thought making the damage increase by floor will also help the player. I also started making endgame upgrades like a nuclear generator, which does not require field. We also got movement upgrades that help the player evade attacks more easily, more HP for the player, a button that skips floors, better loot for the player, more speed, please speed, I need this, and finally a trash can to get rid of the loot that you don't need. Now testing in game, you can now buy the upgrades by accessing the workshop to the right. And low-key, some of these upgrades are fire, but some stuff like the trash can, I feel like it's kind of useless in my opinion. But if y'all have any idea for games similar like this, leave a comment and subscribe, and maybe I'll hear y'all out. Alright, now that we got that done, we can finally start making the last levels of the game, which is the void levels. As for our first level, I wanted it to be like a fun but eerie level, so I went with these spirals and pasted them everywhere. As for the enemy of this level, I went with an eye. I wanted to match the vibe of the level, so I made it kind of transparent, but also seeable at the same time. I like how it gives off a vibe of soccer since it's almost transparent, but you can still feel it watching you. As for its attack, it's gonna shoot laser beams down, which makes you have little space to avoid it. But if you do somehow defeat him, you will receive a reward of his pupil, which is pretty disgusting, but at least he's never gonna look at you again. For the next level, I drew Bloodlust Spirals. Since this level is the second to last level of the game, we must have a difficult opponent. So for our enemy for this level, I drew a Void Knight. He doesn't look creepy, but he does look cool. And if you choose to fight him, make sure you're actually prepared. His attack basically covers everything. You can only move up or down to avoid it. And if your intuition is wrong, you're basically cooked. But if you do somehow defeat him, he will drop his helmet, resembling his defeat. Okay, before we get to the last stage of the game, we haven't made use of the bed yet. So I added a sanity bar that shows up after level 50. And each time you travel down, you'll lose a bit of sanity. In order to regain it, you would have to sleep. Sounds simple, but if you forget, it'll be the end of you. As for the generator, if you run out of fuel, you can now burn items to fuel it up. Everything basically burns the same, so you don't really have to worry about what you're stuffing in there. As for the left wing of the elevator, I made a vending machine that allows the player to buy temporary upgrades. You get stuff like ×2 coins for the next floor, skip 50 floors, or buy gas to fill up your generator completely. There's way more upgrades in the game, but y'all just have to find out in the game. Link in the description. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, to make it more interesting, I set everything at a random price, and the shop resets every floor. So you may find yourself a great or bad deal every floor. The last thing we have to finish off in this elevator is the scrap converter. So now, instead of using your items for fuel, you can also turn to scrap. But unlike the fuel, the better the loot, the more scrap you get. Now moving on to the final enemy of the game, I made a baby. You see, this isn't just any baby. This is the last boss of the game. When the player presses the skip button, it will activate the boss fight. Of course, we can't have the final boss of the game looking like this. This is just a setup. For the real deal, I made a giant purple head of the baby, resembling the void. Gave it some sharp teeth encircling the mouth like a saw, and now it actually kind of looks terrifying, but not horrifying. So I gave it some red veins on top of the head to show his anger, and now he definitely is ready. When you counter him in level 50 plus, he would just seem like an innocent baby. You can't fight him, so your first instinct is to skip it, but that was your biggest mistake. he suddenly transforms, hold the elevator door shut, and grabs you into the void with him. For his attacks, he will go around the map randomly, trying to eat the player, but don't worry, it won't damage you that much unless you keep constantly touching his head. He will also spawn these hands that try to follow you, and if you touch those, it will damage you way more, so make sure to shoot those out the way. There's also pacifiers that spawn randomly around the map, and if you collect those, it will stun him temporarily, allowing you to damage him while he's sleeping. Oh, what's that? This game wasn't really a horror game at all? It was actually kinda not scary? Oh, okay, since you're so tough. I had a little thing for y'all. When a player dies to the boss, it jump scares the player. Whoa, what? The jump scare wasn't scary? Alright, fine. If y'all want me to remake this, with your ideas in the comment, make sure to like and subscribe, and get out my face. You're disgusting. I don't want to see you. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love y'all so much. See y'all later, bro.